Somebody likes to start Mangalacharana?
Oma Jnana-timirandharya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki. Hare Krishna.
Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Mahadev ki jai, Parvati Devi ki jai.
Jai.
We stopped at when Lord Shiva said, what should I do? So we're here. This also is done. Here. Yes, what would you like me to do, Father? Mahadev smiled and asked. It's so impressive, really very impressive how devotee can be so calm and who likes to start reading? The gods visibly relaxed.
I'll do.
Please.
Oh. The gods visibly relaxed as Brahma continued, My dear Shiva, please complete Daksha's sacrifice. You destroyed it because the foolish priests did not give you your share. Kindly not now accept your offerings. Shiva nodded. As you wish, Father. Is there anything else? My lord, please restore Daksha's life. Bhaga's eyes, Brigu his mustache, and Pusha his teeth. Please also heal the injuries of the many gods and the priests whose limbs were broken by your soldiers. Although you destroyed the sacrifice, please now take your portion of the remnants offered to Vishnu and allow it to be completed.
Right.
Chapter 7.
Let's pause here. So concluding chapter 6, what we can learn is that although Mahadev is the Lord of destruction, he destroys what is unnecessary. Sometimes he destroys certain attitudes in us. That's why we worship Mahadev, because to enter into the Dham, Mahadev is called the Kshetrapalaka Shiva. And he's also Gopeshwar Mahadev. Both these activities, in order to enter the Dham and to be able to relish the pastimes of the Dham, we cannot do it unless and until we clear out our anarthas and keep away those attitudes which are harmful to us. So Mahadev, when we say he's a god of destruction, is not just that he destroys who look like demons externally, but he actually tries to break our pride or try to humble our heart, or sometimes he makes all these cases. Brigu's mustache was torn away, and that's the pride for Brigu, I know some men who are very attached to their mustaches. Sometimes the Lord tests us by taking away what we like very much. I remember this story. There was a devotee who had great difficulty in waking up early in the morning, and also had great difficulty to not use toilet paper, because in the ashram they did not have toilet paper. So every morning this person will complain, I can't use toilet paper and I have to wake up early. And he was really frustrated, and he was becoming really lazy and disgusted practicing the bhakti, because he was not able to focus. Then he left ISKCON, he left the temple, ashram. Then he went away, started working here and there. And then one day, after several years, like in the movies, after several years, like that, then there was a moment where it was like 3 a.m. and he was there like guarding a particular place, and there was this huge truck coming in, and he opened the doors for the truck to come in, and as soon as the truck entered, the door of the truck opened, and piles and piles and piles of toilet paper just came from that truck. And this devotee had like a deja vu moment of like, aha, where am I after years? I'm after years at 3 a.m. in front of a pile of toilet papers. And he had like a vision in front of him, like Krishna kind of showing him why he had to be away from Krishna for toilet paper and not being able to wake up in the morning. And that's what he had exactly, toilet papers and waking up early in the morning. Then he went back and then he became a really nice devotee and very dedicated. And he realized that these are not things that we should lament, because if we're supposed to wake up early and be, bereft of toilet papers, that will happen anyway. So like that, in this chapter also we see that Lord Shiva is very expert at taking away what is not necessary. I mean, although Daksha is saying you destroyed the sacrifice because the foolish priests did not give you your share. We know the story, right? It was not exactly like that. It's not that he said, oh, they are not giving me my share, I'm going to go and destroy the sacrifice. It was not like that simple. The wife went and the wife was not respected, and then the wife killed herself. There's much more story to it than saying that Mahadev killed Daksha because he wasn't giving the share. Another point I wanted to make, one thing was about destruction. Destruction is not always bad. We all need destruction in order to progress. Without destruction, without editing our lives ruthlessly, we cannot. And one of the important things to destroy is the mind's habits of envy and mind's habits of comparison, mind's habits of like complicating matters which are not necessary to complicate, that keeps us in this world. And the other point I wanted to make here was Mahadev. Oh yeah, this important point that, like, some devotees of Mahadev may not accept that he's Vishnu's devotee, but here we can see that the whole sacrifice was meant to please Lord Vishnu only. But without pleasing Mahadev, we cannot please Vishnu. But there's also another point that Mahadev is a devotee of the Lord, and therefore he accepts the remnants of the Lord. So these two very simple principles are presented here, but we need to present it carefully to other people, because if we present it in a fanatic way and tell them, you look, Shiva is inferior to Krishna. It's not inferior or superior, it's just a different tattva.
Yeah, sometimes even I have seen that those who are really sincere Shiva bhaktas, Shiva will bring them to Krishna.
Oh, that's so true. Absolutely true. I know devotees like that.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Mataji, please continue chapter 7.
Chapter 7.
Any other comments? Sorry.
Mataji, I like that how Shiva asks, no, anything else you want me to do?
Because he knows.
Wow. We would have been so angry that because of the first demand only, not exactly demand, the first instruction only, but he was so calm and asking like anything else you want me to do.
He's Ashutosh.
Yes.
Very peacefully he's asking, like, please, like Brahma is saying, oh, please, let's finish this yagya, And then Mahadev is like, okay, anything else? Because even to restore the yagya, which means he knows that it needs to be done, that Daksha needs to be restored, because he was the yajamana of the yagya. Okay.
Yes.
Please continue, 7.
Chapter 7, Daksha sacrifice. Daksha completes his sacrifice and Vishnu appears in person. Shiva smiled. Brahma had spoken well. There was no need to harbor any ill feeling. He said, My dear father, I am not upset by the offenses of the gods and priests. I consider them exactly like immature children. I punish them merely to teach them a lesson. I shall certainly restore Daksha's life. Uh, but as you know, his head has been burnt to ashes. I shall therefore give him a goat's head. Regarding Bhaga, since he looked mockingly at me, he shall not regain his eyes. Out of defense to you, I will let him see his share of sacrifice through Mitra's eyes. Since Pusha derisively showed his teeth, he shall also not regain them. Rather, he may chew his food with the help of his disciples' teeth. If he alone, he will have to eat soft food like bread made of chickpea flour. As for the gods who did not actively side with Daksha, they were injured because they enjoyed their.
Okay, let's pause. Tarun, Irada.
Suddenly this question came up, like how they were requesting last part. Yesterday was around like the last 15 minutes, something, 10 minutes, I guess. So my question was, like how Lord Brahma is like requesting Lord Shiva that this yagna has to be completed, right? So I'm thinking like there was blood spill and then so much of violence that happened, right? But after all this is done, like you usually clear up and then you just forget about it. But why was Brahma insisting that this yagna has to be completed? Is there a reason? Like, why is he favoring that this yagna has to be completed?
I don't remember exactly, but I think this yagya was done for some particular purpose for the benefit of humanity in general. And if it is obstructed, then many things will be obstructed.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
not
it
just
had a very
ordinary.
higher purpose.
Yeah,
Okay.
it had a higher
Got it. Perfect. Very nice. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, this point here is also important. When we do some particular mistake, it's not that things will go back to normal. You know, I'm just thinking also this narcissistic behavior of Daksha. I mean, there's so many narcissists in Srimad Bhagavatam. There is, I mean, many people are there. You know, there is Hiranyakashipu, there is Kamsa was a narcissist, and nothing goes back to normal. You know, things have to be adjusted and adapted according to. If they are really regretful, repentful, things can get sorted. Okay, Daksha needs a head, but not a human head. I mean, for Daksha, goat head, oof. For Brigu, he cannot have his mustache back. I mean, in a modern day situation, he'll go and get his mustache weaved in or some artificial mustache, hair extension mustaches or something. And then also Pusha and Bhaga, also they were only able to do it through somebody else. It's indication that we should be very careful to not offend, because when we offend, things cannot go back to normal. Things will be much harder. Yeah, you know, I'm thinking of dialysis and all people who have to. I remember one Mataji, she was actually one of our relatives. She had, I can't remember what the thing was exactly, but she couldn't pass urine from where you pass urine. They had to operate her, and through the hips somewhere, the thing was going, and it was such a difficult situation. So I'm just saying, to not be able to eat or to not be able to see after having the experience of seeing and eating can be very torturous. And why? Because they offended Mahadev. And why is it that Mahadev has taken it personally? No, he hasn't taken it personally, but he needs to do his duty. Sometimes in our lives too, some people may treat us badly. It's not that, oh, I feel bad and therefore I'm going to put consequences. No, but sometimes people need to be taught how to behave. And if it's our responsibility as seniors or whatever, as parents, sometimes we discipline our children. Sometimes we need to draw boundaries with our partners so they don't stop us doing some spiritual activities, or, so there needs to be a way to tell people that this is not the way you should treat others. Even sometimes when we go to market and all, some people try to cheat us or something, even with maids and all. We shouldn't allow them to take opportunity to cheat, because then it will become our responsibility that they stole. This is one principle I learned, that if somebody tricks us or cheats us, if we have been complacent and allowing them to do that, we become responsible as well. So we need to teach people how to treat us, in the sense, especially if they treat us badly, but treat others, because it is our responsibility. Is that point clear? That's what Mahadev is doing here. He's not taking a personal revenge. He's not saying, I feel so bad and I'm going to do this because as a revenge. No, he has to set an example. You don't behave like this. This is very bad. And this is an example for everybody. You behave in a certain way, you'll get cursed. You'll get your mustache torn. That's for people who are attached to mustaches.
Means that we should be very cautious
Very.
about our feelings and the reactions, because like example, like if we get angry, the words came out, we cannot get it back.
Yeah. And also we can't get Brahma to come and speak for us.
Truly.
Who's going to talk for us? I've seen some devotees are very careless about developing good relationships. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a close friend of mine, and we were discussing how sometimes we get so caught up in image and prestige and social status, this, that we forget that we are not really developing bhakti. We are only developing social things. It's like dharma, artha, kama, moksha. The kama only is being developed. We are not developing the moksha element of detachment, element of humility, surrender, like that. And these chapters teach us that no matter your bhaga or your brighu or your dhaksha, you can get your mustache cut, you can get your eyes taken away, and you can get your whole head cut off, no matter how much status and prestige you have. But if you don't have the right attitude, but still, it's hard somehow to learn that. Like in principle, okay, we say, yeah, this is like that, it's a story, but to really like live by those principles is extremely difficult. To treat everybody like it could be Mahadev, it could be somebody great devotee. And why do I think the way they dress is not right, or the way they sing is not? Or so we should be careful to not judge. Can be tough. I was actually thinking about this. Sometime I have this struggle also. I have certain friends and family members who are very judgmental about, what is all this kirtaniyas? There is a lot of competition, and these people are not really, not everybody is advanced enough to really invoke the holy name in a proper pure way. And then there is an element of truth that sometimes it does become like a show, it's not so deep, and the focus is more on the kirtaniya rather than the kirtan, etc. At the same time, we should be careful to judge people. We don't know who has how much devotion. We may not want to go, that's our choice, but we should be careful. Same thing with classes. I fall a little bit into the trap. I sometimes find classes boring, and it's difficult for me to put my mind and listen. Sometimes I find classes very predictable, and I struggle to find like a speaker that inspires me. And one thing I have learned is, the more respectful I am towards everybody who is attempting to give classes, etc., then Krishna will arrange for me to find a speaker that will nourish me, and I can find depth in it. The more I become judgmental or negative and criticize, then the less I'll get opportunity to find classes of people that nourish me. So it's again attitude. The more humble I am, then I will get what I need. The more proud or judgmental I become, Krishna will make it even harder for me to attain it. Like that. That's my personal experience. And sometimes I go through this. Sometimes we think, oh, who is this person? Like that. But We never know who is that person.
Wow, so true. So true. Actually, it's between Krishna and them. We don't have to think much.
That's it. Such a simple principle, but sometimes we don't get it. And it's also
Yeah, it's mainly like we want to go back to Krishna. It's like whether they want or don't want, we don't have to think.
right.
Like just we have to focus on ourselves because we have in a mission. But sometimes, doing in this process, we sometimes forget why we are here. We just forget we're doing something. Like many devotees, like yesterday even I had a discussion with one devotee and he was mentioning his challenges. Then I said that we are not meant to do these things here, but we are doing. We're supposed to do bhakti, but we got some projects and something, so we are engaged on those services, and then we forget that our main mission is to become Krishna conscious and just perfect this life. Like we have to try.
Yeah.
So
That's why we need reminders, right? We need examples, reminders.
That's why it's really necessary. Every day we should connect ourselves with Krishna through the Srimad Bhagavatam and the dear devotees.
Yes. Otherwise, if we don't have Bhagavatam perspective, then we'll have the perspective of the neighbor, we'll have the perspective of the temple. We will lose touch with Bhagavatam. Yeah, thank you so much. Please continue, Mataji.
Where I was.
Yeah, you stopped at Shiva smiled, Brahma had spoken well.
Yeah, there was no need to harbor any ill feelings. He said, "My dear father, I am not upset by the offenses of the gods and priests. I consider them exactly like immature children." I think I had read this.
This
I
page
punished them.
Yeah. They were injured because they enjoyed their share of sacrifice without offering me.
Now they have agreed to give me my share. They will fully recover from their injuries. As for the priests who sided with Daksha by raising their arms and shouting, they had their arms broken. They will not be healed. Instead, they can use the Ashwini Kumar's arm for their work. Those who had their hands severed by me similarly use Pusha's hands. Since Brigu was Daksha's chief advisor, his mustache will be replaced by that of a coat. Everyone present approved of Shiva's decision. Brahma said, "Dear Shiva, it is not without reason that you are known as the best of those who bestow benedictions." Brahma turned to Brigu. "You are the chief priest of the sacrifice. Kindly say what must now be done." Brigu stepped forward with.
Pause 1 minute. There's another point here. Sometimes we get so-called cursed by people who are not qualified. I go through that many times. Oh, you're never going to do this and that. You'll never be a devotee. What, you're going to advance by going to Kirtan? Or there are people who can attack others in a way like, even they may be seniors. Oh, if you don't follow my authority, you will never advance in Krishna consciousness. In India, there is a little bit of this completely illogical, mindless type of authority system. They make the person feel that without you following me, you will not advance. Sometimes it's like, it's me, it's my way or highway. If you don't follow me, if you don't do everything I say, and they may say crazy things also. They may tell you to lie, or they may tell you to do certain things which are not very Krishna conscious. They may tell you to not follow the instruction of the guru. They may tell you to not be authentic, whatever it is. But if you don't follow them and you don't do to the T what they're saying, you're not going to advance in Krishna consciousness. I just want to make a point that those curses don't work because it's not Shiva. It's not like even to be able to curse, somebody needs to have qualification. And Krishna is never partial. Remember, even though somebody may look like a VIP, they may have access to go and meet your Guru Maharaj or to go and touch the deities or to be able to go on the Janmashtami dais as a VIP, it does not mean that they have power to curse and stop our spiritual progress. That's why, I've started this Bhagavatam for independently thoughtful, to think deeper, to use our brains and not to get stuck under this blind system. So we should remember the other side also. Yes, we should be careful, but gently we can refuse to follow certain authority which does not seem to be beneficial for us, or that is taking us away from our real authenticity. Or it's very difficult in India to do that. I know it's very difficult, but where there is a will, there's a way. That has to be done in Sattva-guna. Because I know people who suffer from such things.
Mataji, like in such cases, like they are telling you to do something and you are refusing, like gently only, still they get angry, right? And they will curse, And I have seen that sometimes other whoever is experiencing or witnessing this, they sometimes tend to tell the juniors, like, no matter whether he or she is wrong or right, and they are devotees. If they will get angry or curse, it will have some, consequences in your life. So you better go and try to pacify or something, right? Is it true that even though they are, saying something wrong, and you are refusing to do that, and then they get angry, they will curse, and then it will have some consequences, or just like you said, there will be no consequence? Like I have seen, like sometimes other devotees may make you confused. Like maybe they are also confused. They think no matter what, at the end of the day, they are devotees, and it will work. Like the curse will work.
See, everything can be done Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. Today morning, I had a friend reply a question I had asked about what do you do if, say, for example, your husband is not allowing you to do some spiritual activity? And she replied saying, it depends on the situation. If it makes sense, I will follow what he says. But if it's contrary and stopping my bhakti, I don't stop myself. By Krishna's, no, anyway. And then I also explained my position and why I choose to do, giving reasons. And this person, the husband is devotee, is Krishna conscious, and fortunately supports. But I learned something from this, that my friend, she has a very strong sense of self. She knows what is spiritual, she knows what she needs, what she wants. So internally, she's very firm. I mean, husband can be considered to authority, So I'm just giving this example because it just happened and it's relevant to this question. Sometimes it could be some mentors, sometimes it can be husband. But the most important thing is if you can be firm, if you are clear about your needs and your values and what you require. Because usually the problem happens when we are not sure and clear. When we approach authorities like in a mood of, I don't know, I am dependent completely, that's when the abuse and the kind of traumas and all happen. But when we are strong and we say, hey, I come here to learn shlokas, I come here to learn this and this and this, but I'm not going to listen to you about my personal life of where I should get a job or who I should marry. Or, if you come with that attitude from the beginning, there'll be less damage. But unfortunately, in our right now, the organizational system, it's not like that. People, some mentors and all, they interfere too much in these decisions. If you speak with Americans or Europeans and all, they will laugh at us. What? Your mentor is going to tell you where to live? Your mentor is going to tell you who to marry? It's ridiculous. Your husband is going to stop you from going to the temple? It's ridiculous, right? It's a different culture. But because Indian culture is a little bit about this kind of control, and people think that they own us. When you go to start going to a temple, they think these are my people. My husband was saying, one leader, one time we were speaking of who these people belong to. The person was saying, and my husband was like, what a ridiculous thing. They don't belong to you. Come on. They belong to Guru. They belong to Krishna. It's not that they belong to you. Temple is just meant to facilitate people's programs, and it's a servant. It's not like you own them. So sometimes there's this attitude that you own people. You don't own, nobody owns people. And then what happens if we go through this kind of authority system? We also become like that. When we become guides, we think that people have to do everything I'm saying. That has to change, So the point is, you can have sattva guna firm way of saying, well, this I'm willing to do, this I'm not willing to do. Let's say honesty is your principle, okay? Let's say. And then let's say somebody is, some mentor or a husband or whoever on a certain level is pushing us to say maybe lie to guru, maybe lie to whoever, lie about something. And then it's not sitting well with you. You're thinking, okay, they are mentor, but why should I lie? It's a very clear deviation, you understand? Even in Vamana Dev's story, we see Bali Maharaj, he rejected Shukracharya, he gave up that guru. So there are places even where great gurus were rejected because their attitude was not aligned to Krishna consciousness. So some principles such as truthfulness or whatever needs to be clear in our minds so that we don't fall in the trap of this person is senior, therefore elder. That's what means being independently thoughtful. Prabhupada wanted us to be independently thoughtful. We don't just become like puppets in the hands of these mentors who also have defects of character, who also have their own conditioning, who also have their motivation. Unless we see that this person is completely unconditional and he does not have any personal motives, and whatever instruction they're giving me is nourishing me, then you're not obliged to. You're not signed your thing. You're not signed your life to this person's these people's hands. And no, these curses will not affect us. But if we are guilty and we are all, our own consciousness is bothering us, we may feel blocked. And if we have offended and not respected the association we have had, then we may suffer a little bit without association or something. But it's not incurable. We just have to straighten our attitude. Okay, this devotee is trying their best, but it's not fitting my values. You understand? Like, there has to be a discrimination. You don't have to criticize that devotee. You can just say that devotee's values are different from mine. And there, you can stop there instead of trying to put the other person down in order to feel better. So there will be people, leaders, authority figures who will have different value system, which you may think is inferior, but you can stop at that. Instead of saying that they're inferior, you can just say it's different. My values are not fitting this person's. I mean, that requires experience, association, training, subconscious training, skills, the Sattva-guna way of practicing communication, etc., etc. But it's not an impossible task, and it's always good to learn that because we'll always face these things in our life.
Yes, Madam. Thank you.
So we can stop. Okay, we can tomorrow Shiva will come to the sacrificial arena, everything. Today we stop at how the curses of people remained and how there was some remedy, some kind of a, is it called remedy? Yeah, it's called remedy. The curses remain, the head of Daksha is gone, but then there is going to be some remedy of goat's head, and these people will be able to see and eat, and of course Brigu is going to have a mustache of the goat also. So all these kind of things will continue in a different way, and they are all going to be present at the arena, and Lord Shiva will be respectfully escorted to the arena tomorrow. We can continue there, and today we can meditate more on these curses, and we can think about who we should follow, who we should not follow, how we can not follow in Sattva Guna. Okay, you can outreach about it, you can discuss with some friends, think about this. What does it mean to not follow, and how to not follow respectfully? It's very important. It's very relevant for me also. I'm going through